football. Percolating. Away we go. Hudson and King. Hudson backhands it down. Johnson head down, realising there was a kick there. Well, he didn't get one, but put the head down, went in hard. Always a chance you'll get an early free in this environment. Now the umpire calls for it. Tonight, Rosebery, Meredith and Pinnell. Over the top, Hayes, the third man up. Higgins pushed off the footy. Hayes goes again. Ball up.
Just off the ball, Adam Cooney started deep in the forward line. Clint Jones, the tagger, is being made to play full back line, and I think you're just a little bit less comfortable there than as a midfield tagger.
Hudson bodies up again with King. King decisively. Morris taken down by Hayes. Higgins falling to the ground. Oh, well played. Opportunity now for Clark as he works it forward. Came from Del Santo. Harbrough to Johnson to Hudson. Advantages played. Griffin, so good last week with 32 possessions. Goes short to Grant, just forward of the centre circles. Higgins wants it wide. He goes to the other side of the ground, and why not? Paul, a bit premature with the hand pass. John Siracusa. Jones got a fist on it though. McWalter, Montagna, Clark, and now Fisher. He's in the back pocket to Blake. Blake looks up the middle, short. Baker. Blake's getting it back, smothered off the boot though. Hahn. Blake, Baker under pressure now. It's 3 against 2. Close to the boundary line. It's out of bounds. Boundary throw in.
Steve, interesting decision, isn't it, to play Fisher back on Hall. Fisher normally plays as that half-back floater, but he's going to have the key defensive role tonight.
Hudson got a hand to it. Through the legs of Baker. Oh, well done, Cooney. John Siracusa. Goal.
I really like the move of Cooney straight out of the goal square. I think that Jones is obviously a fantastic stoppage player through the middle of the ground. However, I think he could be really vulnerable coming out of the square. Cooney's got explosive power straight out of the square, and although he didn't get the mark in the early stages of that game, he provides a presence straight away.
John Siracusa so good last week. 35 possessions.
Cooney was the one who got it out. You couldn't have played much closer than Jones did, but Cooney was still the one who ferreted it out. Good hard ball get.
So the Dogs in the early going lead it by 6 points.
Lenny Hayes, free kick. Bring it back, Lee.
Hayes getting it free inside the centre circles. Del Santo sent away on his left boot. Down towards the 50. Dawson was up. Williams did well. Knocked towards the boundary by Higgins. And it trickles across the boundary line.
You made that point in the pre-match that St Kilda can be a little bit slow at ground level in their forward line. With Dawson down there, it's going to be an even greater challenge for their ground level players to keep the ball in.
Ben Hudson.
Hands in the back. Hudson gets the free.
Right on it, Stephen.
Hudson to Higgins. Higgins from half back takes something off the kick just beyond the wing. Hall storming up, taken down. Well done, Fisher. Holding the ball. Is the call? No, it's out of bounds.
It almost sort of seems that Ross Lyon has perhaps thrown the challenge down to Sam Fisher to do a really strong defensive job on obviously one of the hot power forwards in the game.
Lucky Sam behind the pack. Johnson attacks the footy. His teammate Griffin was in there as well. Spills wide. Harbrow. Quick hands. Hargrave. Johnson. So good last week on his return. John Siracusa, the hand pass stifled. Del Santo only as far as Johnson. Little chip pass. Brilliantly done by Blake. Backed himself against the footy. That was special. Speaking of special, our good mate Bruce McAvaney will be with us at half-time, but his voice is gone. Nothing to do with me. There was no sabotage. Wilt gets it from Hayes. Down towards half forward. Going back. Morris almost did well again. Taken front on by Schneider. They battle. Almost away was Milne. Left the ball behind. Ruining his misfortune.
Came out.
Tim?
Goddard's been excellent against the Bulldogs the last couple of times they've played. Addison actually has the job on him he's going to shadow him wherever he goes, be it in the forward line or even if he plays that free player across half-back.
Cross at close quarters to Griffin. 32 possessions last week. Not his best one tonight, that one. King held a long time. Well worked by Addison to Griffin. Hans away, kicks down towards half forward again. Barry's presenting, lays it off to Murphy. Only one man inside the forward 50. He's gone for him now. What a good kick. Cooney. Wonderful acceleration to take the mark as well. Cooney to Johnson. Gets inside the 50. Kicks into the oncoming Blake. Gilby outside the 50. They skirt the perimeter. Hargrave, Cooney bursting through. Williams goes to the outer side of the ground. Jan Siracusa to the pocket, and Hahn pitches in front of him, runs away and goes out of bounds.
The Bulldogs really needed to work the ball around the arc like they did, because St Kilda were very good, as they always are, in bringing a large number of their players back in the defensive 50. There was just absolutely nowhere for the Western Bulldogs half forward to kick the ball into the forward 50.
Two contrasting teams. The Dogs kick a lot of goals. St Kilda, well, they got a lot 2 weeks ago, but last week starved of opportunities, and their history says they don't kick heaps. Hargrave squeezes a kick out. Got it from Cross. Harbrow's got the football inside the centre square. Gilby, Harbrow hacks his way through. That's a nice kick, although Gwilt did brilliantly. Hung in the air for just a moment too long, intended for Murphy, and Gwilt quick with that closing speed.
Very early in the game, but St Kilda's tackling pressure is really on tonight. They've had 9 tackles in even this first few minutes of play, and but the Bulldogs, however, are taking the clearances away.
King upended. Jones is in there. Socket out of the pack by Geary. Hargrave. Well done by Hayes. A rolling hand pass. Harbrow strongly tackled. That pressure that Lee was speaking of. It's matched that time by Morris. In goes Hudson. Knocked out of there by Cross. That was clever. Taken by Hargrave to Morris. In front down there, Higgins couldn't hang on. Gwilt with the numbers to Schneider. Schneider into the path of Gilbert. Gilbert is running hard. Needs it to Seth. Everett did well. Got him on the ground. They had 2-on-1. He needed to be on the ground. Now Everett's away. Interesting hand pass. We'll file that under miscellaneous. It's taken out there by Murphy. Murphy kicks inside the forward 50. It pays to be the third mouse in line. He got the cheese there, just waiting behind Goddard. Across the face of goal, Montagna.
Yep.
Out of defence then, Montagna. Jack Stephen. Blake kicking towards half forward. Milne has to get on his bike here. Griffin just hanging back. Harrison. Clever. Back to Griffin. Well played by Lake. Griffin, as a result, under pressure, but got the hand pass off. Roughhead. Hargrave goes across the ground. Jan Siracusa on the move. Up ahead is Cross. Hand pass comes back to Williams. Cross stops on the outer side, so as a result, Williams comes back to the middle and finds Morris. Morris close to the boundary line. It goes out of bounds.
It's been the typical St Kilda game, isn't it, really? It's Bulldogs are playing well. They're getting plenty of the footy, but they just do so well of blocking up that back 50 that it's hard to get the ball deep forward quickly, and that's exactly what's gone on early.
Gardner reaching over the top. Advantage is paid. The kick was going to Roughhead. Hahn's got it now. Down towards right half forward. Just pops it up. Hall again. Searching far and wide for his ball at the moment. Is it right half forward? Johnson over his head. Geary. Play on's the call. It was touched on the mark. Geary across the face of goal. Armitage through his legs. Over the top Cross. He's outnumbered 3-1 Cross. Armitage did well. Del Santo gave it to Montagna. Gardner gets it now. Draws a man. Loops it over the top. And they'll run with it. Stephen. Jones. Still Jones. That was clever. Goddard through the centre square. Probing kick, a beauty. Kozetzky gets on the end of it.
It's a terrific result for the Saints. The Western Bulldogs are dominating general play. The inside 50 count now is 5 to Western Bulldogs, only 2 to St Kilda, but they're not hurting them on the scoreboard. And the transition from the Saints is fantastic, leaving the forward 50 open for Cosby, and this will be a great start for the big fella.
Probably his family can't remember baptising him or christening him. Much maligned, Justin Kosicki. But that's how it appears in the paper, at least for the last 2 or 3 weeks. He'd love a goal to start. We'd like him to kick one, and wouldn't you know it? When your luck's out, your luck's out.
Moved well across the line there. He basically just went from flank to flank.
Yep.
A good 50-metre lead it was on the diagonal, and Lake couldn't maintain contact. And when he can jump at the ball high in the air, he's good, Kosicki.
Gilby. Looking up the middle. Comes out wide. Lake. Oh, that's a clever mark. Lake over the top of Geary. Close to the boundary line. Flirting with it. Hahn can't reel it in. He was distracted by the boundary line.
Be an interesting game within a game. The Western Bulldogs are so good at their kick-ins. They are the best side at going coast to coast, and obviously we know how good St Kilda are with their all-ground defensive pressure, so it'll be interesting to monitor that throughout the night.
Hayes inside the forward 50. It's 2-on-1 down there. That time the body used by Lake.
You did that. You're busting straight in the back, right?
Heard the explanation.
Right here. Daniel. Out, please.
No doubting that. That's a free kick in 1955. So Kosicki, who hit the post with his last effort, steps to the 50. Kick is on its way. That's beautiful. That's serene. I like it.
Yes, we know that Brian Lake likes defending by marking the footy. He very rarely tries to spoil, and I guess that one, in positioning himself to try and mark it, he just did too much body pressure before Kosicki had a chance to jump, and that becomes a good confidence builder to get his second shot.
It was interesting last week against the Crows. Brian Lake had a bit of a shaky start on Kurt Tippett. Kurt Tippett came out and attacked the ball well, and he's a similar trend following the path now.
Hayes at the second attempt, nudges it forward, goes again and again inside the forward 50. Peeling off and showing pace down there was Williams. Went to ground. Harbrow spins out of trouble, looks to the outer side. Now there's a man on by himself. Higgins will almost intent on drawing a man. That man wouldn't be drawn. Forced to kick it. Grant back to Higgins. Quick thinking. Gave it out to Morris. Grant beyond the wing. Johnson. Johnson looks down towards the 50. Decides to run. Higgins. That's hard running by the youngster. He was pushed in the back surely. No free kick. Goddard's got the football. Breaks from half back. Now a chance for Milne. Runs the outer side wing. Back come the Saints. Doggedly. Over the head there of Schneider. Schneider with 2 to beat. In trouble, Schneider. Make that 3 to beat. Harbrow's got the football. Short one is on it. Gets there in the nick of time. Cooney takes the mark at half back. Everett grew up, no surprise, barracking for the Saints. Favourite footballer, no surprise. His brother Peter. Griffin.
It's partly St Kilda's defence, but the Bulldogs look like they're trying to avoid the centre corridor a bit. But they keep coming outside, which really only, I think, fits into St Kilda's plan.
Cooney looking for Roughhead. Hacked back towards the man who kicked it by Gardner. Now Jones, Geary, inside the forward 50 will almost. Well, Kosicki had to go with the ball. Gilby gets back. Although, having said that, he did some pretty good work as it turned out. Williams on one knee. Might change that. Up towards the wing. Eagleton, meantime, to half forward. Leading it pretty well. Raph Clark went to ground. Ackerman put his head down. Baker stole it. Kicks it at right angles, though. Higgins, ample time to track it. Johnson is on. Bypasses Johnson. Johnson not happy. Has a lot to say. Meantime, is Hall going to get a free kick? I think he is.
Barry Hall got his arm. He got his arm. Hanging on in the marking contest. No, doesn't matter. It's a free kick. Where you are.
It's amazing when you're incredulous how your voice goes up and sounds like Frankie Bally.
It's also amazing when you're used to a certain task and the close checking defender can't remember the last time I've seen Sam Fisher play that role. But you can get out of practice with those defensive aspects of your game in the body-to-body duels.
The key word there is, Lee, practice. You're right. It's continually doing it in game pressure situations.
Behind. Now that was Barry Hall's first free kick this season. Meantime, at the other end, the ball got a cursory glance. Williams was left cursing. Meantime, Montagna to the back pocket, drives it to the outer side. Some hanging on out there. No, umpire lets them play. Good policy. It's out of bounds. 7 plays 7. Joined us late. Bruce has a bad voice tonight. Well, not a bad voice. He's got a croaky voice.
It's not working.
It's always a good voice. In front, Griffin. Got it from Higgins, off hands, out of bounds. Maybe if we sort of coax him, Bruce will give us a little cameo during a quarter. I know it's against the rules, Bruce. You're in quarantine, but maybe. Boundary throw. Boundary throw.
I'm here, Dan.
Good on you, mate. It's going to beat you up all night if you didn't answer. Montagna, Blake. Now Montagna looks to the opposite pocket, twisting, turning, short. And Fisher takes it.
Play on. Play on.
Ralph Clark, Ackermanis bearing down. Farron Ray, an old Bulldog.
Still, mate.
Fisher. Baker. What a player he's been. Montagna.
You.
Blake. He's at right half back. Not much on. Goes for distance. Harbrow and Schneider. Schneider almost up the top. Harbrow. Well done, Harbrow. For a moment I thought Del Santo had taken the footy. Nothing doing for him though.
You, mate.
Now the kick from Gilby. Got it from Cross. In the pocket, Ackermanis. Acker looks to the middle. Why not go to Hall again? He's feeling it. That time though he dropped the mark. In trouble, Murphy. Ball up 25 metres out from goal.
There's clear intent in St Kilda's play at the moment. Their tackling pressure's fantastic. And I guess the funny thing is we haven't seen how they've responded from a loss for a long time. I mean, they only dropped the 2 games last year. So obviously Ross Lyon's given them a bit of a wind-up this week, and they've come out with all guns blazing.
King knocked it down. So far the Saints have been terrific, really taking it up to the Bulldogs. Wilt emerges with a football. Bounces it beyond half back in the back. Gilby will get the free.
Did you just get the impression early on, though, it's St Kilda's ability to keep them to a losing score, the Bulldogs, because they're not going to kick a big score themselves, the Saints.
Everett on the 50.
Said they'd only dropped 2 games last year. You forget the grand final, did you?
Not at all, Bruce.
You wouldn't pass a fitness test either, Brucey.
Thank you. Yep.
Meantime, Everett's got the footy. Still here to maintain quality control, Tom, eh? Bruce?
Absolutely.
That's what we need. Without him, I think the quality might drop away a little bit. That's a beautiful kick. It's a minor score.
It's hard to see on the full screen, but St Kilda are virtually playing to almost a back half game. They're almost got one player maybe forward to centre the majority of occasions. They're very much playing a behind the footy, getting numbers back half, running the ball forward, but you still got to find a target on the way out, and Kosicki was that a couple of times early on, but there's interesting, can they find anyone else in there?
Del Santo drives it to the outer side. Got some gridlock out there. Everett crawling his way forward. Jones with another job tonight. A rare Jones, really. Week in, week out, he keeps up with everybody else. Tonight it's Cooney. Knocked down by Hudson. Socket off the ground there by Armitage. In the opposite direction was Hargrave. Hand passes inside the forward 50. Gian Siracusa worked off the football by you-know-who. Mr. Unobtrusive.
I think the way the Bulldogs have set up, they would have expected Jones on Cooney, and I think Cooney's just going to try and keep away from the congestion in space and try and make it a one-on-one contest. And so Clint hasn't got his teammates to help him tight.
Out of mid-air by Del Santo. McWalter goes to ground. Gee, it is tough. It's a real tug-of-war at the moment.
You can really see on the screen there how many numbers there are around the footy. There's just no space to go, and I wouldn't mind actually seeing a Cooney in there, and he's one of those players that has amazing amounts of power to break through a stoppage and carry the lines.
Hahn, he would relish this sort of game. So would Hayes. Over the football, running out of space. In the back, he'll get the free kick.
Having made that comment, Tom Cooney went into the next stoppage, so much for that theory.
Hayes to Gwilt. Dangerous kick. Sits up obligingly, though, for Blake. Blake, couple of bounces. Comes back to Fisher. Sold into trouble. Back to Gwilt. We had it moments ago in the opposite back pocket. Not his best kick. On his knee is Ray. Hand passes to no one in particular. Coming through with dash, though, was Clark. Slung by Gilby. After it goes Hudson. Back comes Clark. Tries to feed it to Armitage, who did brilliantly. Gave it out to Hayes. Hayes a hand pass to Fisher. Run down from behind was Stephen. Now a chance for Dawson. Dawson a fumbler. Got boot to ball, though. That wasn't bad. Oh, well done by McWalter. Montagna taken down by Griffin. Spinning out of trouble once, but not twice. Williams, they got him. Free kick will go to Stephen. Jack Stephen. Other side wing. Dogs by a point. Dawson, that's better.
Nice style, thank you.
Goddard on the move. Attracts the football. Good hard running.
He's dangerous in there, but incredibly accurate. He's kicked 12 goals, 2 behinds this year, Goddard. His conversion has been fantastic.
He averages 24 possessions over 12 games against the Dogs, his highest against any club, and last year he feasted on them, 37 and 33 in their 2 qualifying matches. Oh, well, I got him.
There's a chance for Griffin.
Yeah, you both hit the nail on the head there. Well done.
Any clubs watching, we do that for money too. We will be prepared to stand on the mark. Little cameos. As we've said before too, knife throwing is extra. Here's Montagna across the ground. Whoop, missed by Stephen. Back onto it. Looks inside the forward 50. Beautiful pass. They all arrived at the footy together. Spills wide. Well, Grant left it behind. Geary stolen away by Cooney in the opposite direction. Stephen taken down by Gilby. Grant dives after the football. Have a ball up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gee, Hahn was brave here, wasn't he?
Thank you.
In case you don't recognise that voice, Bruce McElhaney.
It's getting worse.
Sounds like Peter Lorre. Knocked forward there by Hahn in the opposite direction. Ray Jones across to Gardner inside the 50. Loose at the back. Reaching back was Milne. Over the top, Harbrow. How will the umpire call it?
Fine.
Ball up.
Didn't dive on it. Thanks, Jared. Thanks, Jared.
Didn't get this at all, did he? Just completely mistimed it. Might have kicked the ground on the way through.
After the bounce, Harbrow. Umpire said that was a duck of the head. So we'll have a bounce as Armitage picks himself up. Most of the players, you can see where around this football. Del Santo, 3rd man up. Montagna. Can they lead at quarter time? Montagna wheels around the high ball. Kozinski launched himself. No mark. Strong tackle. Got Williams down. Jarred out of there. Del Santo improvising with the outside of the left boot. Towering leap by Lake. And it's out of bounds.
So what do you know of Kozinski? You see like playing on a Lake who doesn't tend to kind of push in with his body, that gives him a free jump at the footy.
Yeah, I mean, that's his go. He just loves launching the ball. I think he'll relish the opportunity to play on Lake because that's the way he goes about it. There'll be some fantastic packs in the St Kilda forward 50 if that matchup stays the way it is at the moment.
Armitage got it from Hayes and proceeded to kick it out of bounds. He was in the grasp.
The game now really does feel like a final. It's got that feel about it. It's the finals are very defensive games, and as they say, offense sells memberships, but defense wins premierships. We can see that, with the contested ball and the tackles, all those figures now pointing towards a really strong, hard defensive game of footy.
Cooney to the wing, reaching up Goddard, Ackermanis, and it's out of bounds.
going to be important tonight, Goddard. You can see that really he's just going to have to get himself involved in the goal scoring, because St Kilda just don't look dangerous in that forward third.
Tim?
Lenny Hayes is having some sort of a night. Already 10 possessions and 6 clearances, so he's been the dominant midfielder out there on the ground so far.
Cross. Knocked it about 15 metres forward. Johnson looking for a free kick. Nothing doing. Armitage, quick hands away. Gwilt burns off Hahn. They're doing all the attacking at the present time, the Saints. On their 50. Up comes Kazitsky. Falling to the ground. Lays it off. Dawson. Goddard, 60 metres from goal. Gives it across to McWalter. Sends it long. This is Gardner's area. Knocked away, though, by Roughhead. That wasn't easy. Roughhead was off balance and timed it perfectly.
I've often talked about ruckmen have trouble having to defend, but Roughhead did that really well.
Yep.
Good timing.
Everett with the clock running down. He's in the back pocket. Lake may be the target. It's 2-on-1. Lake, well, he's flirting with the idea of flying. Jono came from behind.
Whose is it?
Yeah, who's getting it?
That's Brian Harris, sorry. Yeah.
Brian Harris.
Pointing the wrong way.
Yeah, man in front.
We are.
Yeah, well.
Even if he's your teammate behind.
Did he call him Brian Harris? Then it's almost a heritage round. Not rivalry round, Dennis.
He pointed the wrong way and he called the wrong name. So that's compounding your error, I guess. On the wing, Roughhead got it across to Johnson. Eagleton. Hand pass comes from Addison, taken by Eagleton. Kicks it inside the forward 50. Coming up is Hayes. Slips it away, Gilbert. Down to a minute to play in this term. Gilbert just gives it away. Gian Siracusa. Hargrave. Nobody is deep. It'll be a squared ball to the middle or a shot at goal. Griffin unloads and kicks a goal. How about that?
You just suspect that they're going to have to do a fair bit of that, the Bulldogs, because St Kilda just protect that back 50 so well, but we know Hargrave, just a superb long kick.
Really going, you're right, Lee. They're really going to have to punish the turnover. I mean, that was so un-Sam Gilbert-like. He's having a fantastic year. He's turning into having a fantastic career. And Ryan Griffin, he's as important and dominant a midfielder as there is in the competition at the moment. The way he moves the ball going forward is just outstanding, and he's having a real influence on the game.
Such a penetrating player, isn't he? Because he can run, he can carry, then he's got that 60-metre kick.
Yep.
So good last week. 32 possessions. Plenty of it again tonight. Montagna out of the middle. Dogs lead it by 6. And you've got to say it's been St Kilda's sort of game so far, so the Dogs would be pleased in their way. Williams goes back. Hargrave. Cross. Williams. Cross. Knocked towards the line by Milne. Almost made something out of nothing there. Montagna bundled across the line by one of the league's premier tacklers, and that's Cross.
One of the things that happens to Matthew Boyd there, who's got the broken hand, that tense tackling pressure makes the opposition react even when the pressure's not there to hurry themselves. And that's happened a bit to the Bulldogs, I think.
Nice by Gardner down to Montagna in the pocket. Schneider, and the ball goes out of bounds. 10 seconds. He wants them back, I think. As many men as he can get back because he knows what the clock is telling him.
We can't score, they can.
So a boundary throw in, bearing in mind that time, and it goes to a good spot for the Dogs. They've got a man there and they've got the boundary line. So the clock now has chewed up half that available time.
There's actually terrific footage of Rocket Ed. You could see the intensity on his face and how important he obviously has put on this game. It's a big game for the Western Bulldogs.
So it's quarter time. Grueling affair, that one. Western Bulldogs lead at 2-2-14 to St Kilda 1-2-8. 25 minutes between Bulldogs goals. They got one early, then one late. It's going to be that sort of night. Tough on Friday Night Football. football, 4 possessions, but came up a long way to get a couple of them. Second term on Friday Night Football, knocked down there by Gardner. Comes towards Jones. Cross, missed the football, slapped out of there. Nice work by Ray, gave it to Jones. Milne, they share it. Jones on the outer side wing. Looks back towards the corridor, now decides to kick for distance, and why not? Dawson, he's the target, got an unkind bounce, had to go back. Hargrave over the top, Cooney, bit of a fumble. Time to recover, Lake. Away he comes, barely a ripple, just drops it onto his boot and finds Addison. He's at right half back. Short one, Jan Siracusa. Play on's the call, not sure what he did there. Back towards the middle, well, Grant dropped it, now he's got a problem. Tunnel balls it back, cross, a lot of the football now. Jan Siracusa, Addison confronted, the Sydney boy did well. Jan Siracusa kicks towards half forward, Ackermanis the half volley. That was very awkward. Gardner, Wilt, he fumbled. Bit going on behind play. Baker and Ackermanis. It's all over now. Meantime, Schneider. That's a telling kick. Kazitsky pushing up the ground. Dawson being held. No free kick. Bad kick. Off the side of the boot. Lake dropping back. No trouble at all. Morris. Now Harbrow. Split the indifference. We like that one. He goes down towards left half forward. Gathered by Fisher. The numbers back for the Saints. Jones, Wilt, Schneider, 3 goals last week. While reading it beautifully off the foot there was Gilby. Goes short for Ackermanis. Not sure that was the spot. Johnson behind, coughs it up. Del Santo. Well done, Acker. Wins it back.
Come through.
Yes, as you caught it, Dennis, when I think it was Gilby came forward, he had a long option, but he actually picked a short one. But this was a ball coming out, and great tackle. Those forward 50 tackles, you get a lot of value for those.
And the whole forward foray started actually when Kazitsky led up, and Brian Lake actually let him go. Kazitsky kicked the ball straight to his direct opponent in Lake, and then the transition, which the Bulldogs are so good at, has ended up with Ackermanis with the ball in his hand and the shot on goal.
So Acker hasn't kicked a goal this season. 45 metres out. It's on the way, and it's out to the right. Said several times he looks razor sharp this season, but without a goal. Their leading goal scorer last year. Here's Gilbert out of defence. Not a good kick again. Mark is taken by Gilby to the middle. Not sure. Well, worked out okay. Harbrow. Hall. Plenty of congestion down there. Murphy took Hall's ground on a lead, but he's cleared it out because they haven't gone down there. Lake. That's ambitious, Lake. Kazitsky did well, won the football, lays it off Milne. Nothing up ahead. Still nothing. Milne needs the footy to come back to him. Now he's away. Running inside the forward 50 was Dawson, went to ground, slapped it on, well played, McWalter. Kazitsky, run down by Jan Siracusa. Loose ball, Gardner, 20 metres out, lays it off, and the snap goal comes from young Stephen. Jack Stephen gets the goal.
Fantastic play all round, wasn't it? The chase down tackle was fantastic, but just the awareness to get the hand pass clear when Kazitsky wasn't expecting the tackle, but just got the handball clear through Gilby's feet.
They got away with one there, the Saints. Actually, they turned the ball over twice, and the balls ended up in Gilby's hands on both occasions. So to not the Bulldogs not get a score, it's been a great result for St Kilda. They've made them pay on the scoreboard.
I reckon Kazitsky found a yard there because he knew it was Jan Siracusa behind him, and he's got a memory like an elephant. He just zipped away and got the ball off in the nick of time. Out of midair by Gardner. Getting across and taking the mark is Gilby. Gilby drives it at 45 degrees across the ground. Addison made it his own. Great grab. Goes short. Wonderful footy. Murphy.
That was good play. You're really going to have to have your wits about you when you're going into the forward 50, pretty much at either end, but particularly into St Kilda's defence, because they cover the dangerous spots so well. A little precise kick when it's on. That was a really good play by Addison.
You have to move the ball so precisely, and again it started with Gilby as the architect off half-back.
Robert Murphy from long range then. Point the difference. This to make it 7. I think it's offline. Well, it was, and barely had the carry. I think Gardner had it covered on the line. Hayes. Blake's away, drives it beyond the wing, going back with the flight of the football. Down there was Milne, could have been held. Coming over the top, the defence showing no quarter. They worked it well. Hargrave, Addison, Harbrow, short one, Cross, juggles the mark. Cross coming up for his 10th possession, most of them by hand. That's generally his modus operandi. Goes in short, and the mark is taken by Murphy. Harbrow just taking some of the sting out of the game for a moment. Hargrave. Now White. Finally, they get a man free, but Stephen does well. Tracks across, closes Williams down. 16, plays 14 on Friday Night Football. Williams. Lake. Different path this time. Harbrow, he's away. Pacey customer. I'm not sure that was the intention. Acker was standing there. It was the drive-by pass. Kicks inside the forward 50, off hands. Chance for Hall. Put the body in. Clattering into him was Fisher. Over the top is Fisher. Didn't want to be the man on the deck. I think it was Del Sado. He might have caught one, Del Sado. We'll have a ball up.
It's a great contest at the moment. Both teams are actually down on their tackle count from last year, and they're tracking really well. We've got the Western Bulldogs at 29 for the game and St Kilda 32. It's just a great game of football.
Goddard. Straight up in the air. Who wants it most? Hahn! Oh, that's it. Oh, umpire, please.
No, he did pay it.
Oh, I think so.
And just that, the benchmark, 40.5 of football is fantastic.
Yeah.
And Bulldogs and St Kilda are probably both going to get up to that. So the tackling pressure. And both sides, I reckon, are just a little bit fumbly because the tackling pressure is making them that way.
That was terrific by Hahn. It was a question of want to there. He's kicked 4-6 from set shots. This one's working back, not quite the carry. Gardner the big fly, off hands across the line. Tim?
Saw the Saints before setting up that full press, but the Bulldogs are one of the best sides in the competition, actually being able to kick their way through that. They've just got to get the ball in the hands of the right players like Gilbury and Harbrow, as we saw before.
Morris pumps it back in, and they got caught coming out that time, the Saints, and Hahn will get another chance.
Turnovers have been the big score source in all games of footy pretty much this year, but certainly in tonight's game, because St Kilda's defence particularly is so well organised, it's on the turnover there, just a little bit out of position.
And turnovers in the back line, you can count them on the scoreboard. Hahn comes in, and this time he's found range. That bit closer to goal, kicks truly.
I mean, it's a terrible turnover from Raf Clark, and he had some demons from last year's grand final, I reckon, poor old Raf Clark. And this is, we've mentioned on a couple of occasions that this is a final type intensity, and he's made a blue here, and the Bulldogs have made him have punished him on that turnover. You know, as a leader of the St Kilda side, you'd want to get around Raf, give him a bit of a hand without making him feel like he's really made a blue for the team. So an interesting one for the St Kilda players to manage.
Mitch Hahn immediately off the ground. 23 plays 14, and in this game that's quite a handy lead.
They're going to have to kick those goals because you think that all the set shots are going to be from that 35-metre plus. I don't think there's going to be too many close-in marks taken deep.
I think you're right. Big leap by Hudson, hardly any contact there. Jones to his own advantage, scrambles it forward about 15 metres, off hands, falls in front. Jones comes again. That was wonderful footy. Tackled Everett. He was involved from the get-go there out of the middle.
And that's the kind of just slight ball handling error that the pressure creates. Everett just didn't take the ball first feel, And if you don't take it first field tonight, you're going to get nailed.
There's Jones again, no respite.
The game's in a really interesting stage at the moment. The Western Bulldogs dominating scoring opportunities. It's 3 goals 5, so 8 scoring shots to St Kilda, 2 goals 2, which is obviously 4. They need the goal that St Kilda got was a bit of a soft one, so they probably need one to really stabilise where they're at the moment, the Saints.
Everett a big leap to win it down. He butters up again. King is there. Another ball up.
Straight up.
Saints forward line working out to the ball, which is slightly forward of centre for the Saints. King locks up with Hudson. 2 manly men. Everett emerges with it. Thought there was going to be pressure. There was none. Murphy. John Siracusa took it low down. Hooks it across the body. Rough head is the target. Drifting across though, as he does so well, is Fisher. Flattened in that very spot a couple of weeks back. Schneider. Gilbert. Gilbert gives it to Fisher. Goes out wide to Montagna. Lee Montagna, right half back, takes something off the kick. An element of danger there. Morris across to knock it down. Well done by Clark. Running into a dead end, McWalter. And the umpire will ball it up.
It's interesting with Fisher doing the job on Barry Hall, and Gilbert's actually having a bit of a quiet night. It sort of seems that the St Kilda backline have lacked a little bit of drive from the 2 players which normally set it up for them.
King only as far as Griffin. Kicks inside the forward 50. They're queued up down there. Barry made it uncomfortable. Baker won it on the ground. Gilbert, Fisher. Now Hayes. Jones again. Hayes slips it away close to the boundary line. Ralph Clark, the look away handball if you don't mind. Hayes beyond the wing. Gilby. Well, it's a battle of defences, and the umpire is going to award 50. Is he against Kazitsky? He is. And suddenly Gilby is a dangerous man to have the footy.
Yeah, anywhere now around the 50-metre line, he's going to be kicking the ball from about 35 metres. So distance is going to be no problem. I think he played it well, Gilby, to make sure that he got the 50-metre penalty, but the contact was there after the mark.
It's those 2 players, Lindsay Gilby and Jared Harbrow off half-back, which are causing a hell of a lot of trouble for the Saints at the moment.
Don't know what started that. Tim, what happened?
Reversed.
It's been reversed,
well, the umpire went to Barry Hall, so I can only assume that he was involved in some sort of an altercation.
Well, that's money, I think. Short one comes to Gwilt. Got it from Armitage. He almost gets in his way as he kicks it along the boundary. Geary has it bounce off his chest. So an indiscretion there. Well, what happened? What's Barry done? We can't see from that. But clearly he did something. Umpires don't make it up, so shades of LaShawn Merritt, he only compounded the problem. Going to Grandel Santo. And the umpire will ball it up.
Let's have a look at this again. There must have just been a bit of eye contact. All it takes.
Hand to the face is, as a player, you're told that's an absolute no-no.
Yeah, that's Barry's name, Festival. It goes down towards right half forward. Running out of space is Murphy. Whistle, free kick to Murphy, looks to the middle. They might still get this elusive goal. Johnson right on the 50. More importantly, the next goal, if the Dogs get it, will mean back-to-back goals for them.
It's a 55-metre kick. John O'Dowd looks like he's not terribly confident, but he's going to have a go.
Well, he's aging like Benjamin Button. In he comes, 55 metres out, gives it a ride. Oh, just off to the right-hand side. Defiantly thumped across the line down there by King.
Every St Kilda player, but it would have been looking for Lindsay Gilby. Johnson would have loved to have given the ball to him around that play, but St Kilda will be aware that Gilby is that receiver of the hand pass for the long-range shot at goal.
And the damning statistic at the moment is the Western Bulldogs are red hot. They've had the last 7 inside 50s.
As we saw, Barry is sitting down. In trouble, Montagna goes back to Hayes. Too much class there to mess it up. Although, having to stretch was Ray. Clark comes through. Little chip to midfield. They've risked a bit here, and they might get the benefit. Milne is on. They haven't spotted him. Instead, McWalter goes wide. Milne is still running. He'll get this football. Montagne's spotted him. He can't get the ball that distance. Or can he? Lurking behind now, Milne fell over. Taken by Lake. Gets around Kazetsky. Bounces one up towards Higgins. Harbrow. Well played. Griffin on the burst. We love him. He goes down towards half forward.
The runner. Free kick against the runner. Runner's in the way. St Kilda running right. Daniel, your kick, Daniel. St Kilda runner in the way.
Yeah, there you go.
Daniel's kick.
I don't think you can argue that one too much, Dennis.
I don't think so. No, no. Damned by the evidence he was. Meantime, Montagna, Del Santo, Gilbert, they'll try again. Too tall for Milne. Cooney with his shadow in the opposite direction. Williams. Ball ricocheted off him. Oh, brilliant by Griffin. Gave it across to Williams. On the lead and missed by Grant. Feeds it back. Taken by Cross. Hand passes to Cooney. Clever by Gian Siracusa. Well, that was a teammate. I think he stoned that time. It ricochets back towards a man at half-back, Everett, who comes out wide, and it's taken by Cross. I think it might have been Griffin who copped it on the back of the head. Goes short. Hahn. There we say it. Dick Cheney. So Hahn. Well, King's the only man deep. He's not the best mark in the world. I'd chance it. Hargrave. Everett.
Actually, whenever you see one or two noticeable ball handling errors, you know there's a few that you're not seeing. And both Everett and Grant at this point of time, just a couple of times, haven't been able to take the ball first field. Very costly.
Nice kick, that one by Everett, though. Morris. Now they're on. Harbrow is loose. Gian Siracusa comes to Ackermanis. Some good hard running back there. I think it was Baker who got back to cover Harbrow when he needed to. You see Harbrow in the distance there at left half forward. Ackermanis goes up that side, but to Gian Siracusa. Now Lake is on. Lake is run forward. He's in the pocket. He wants the football. And again, sometimes these players simply don't look up. Murphy.
St Kilda defending their centre corridor defensive area really well. The Bulldogs know that, so they just won't go there. So it's just a bit of patience on the way out.
But Brian Lake ran hard to the pocket and had about 30 metres on Blake, as it turned out. Now Armitage comes through and does well. Punches it away from Gilby in a lacklustre build-up by the Dogs. Got to take a risk. Now, was that a punch?
I don't know what he did to himself then, but he's sore, a bit sore.
Was that a punch on the fist? I'd like to see that again. Did they clash fists? No, I don't think so. Maybe they did. Watch this again. Sort of.
Sore shoulder by the look of it.
Brendan Goddard.
Tim?
Free kick.
He saw came into the game with it heavily strapped. He left the ground, shook his head. They took him down into the rooms for a while, but he still looks like he's really feeling the effects of that.
First inside 50 for the Saints, and that's barely in 15 minutes. Gilby's got it. Lake is on. Can it get there? It bounces obligingly for Lake. It was very clever. That was brilliant. Just laid it into the path of Harbrow. Goes to Murphy. Now they've got to strike. They've got to strike quickly. Murphy in two minds. Back to the middle. Ackermanis. Well,
someone on this side of Hall can get there. They still got to go in quick, don't they?
They do. Hall was one-on-one momentarily.
Trouble is you get used to the fact you expect the forward 50 to be blocked, and even when it's not, you tend to hold on to the ball. That's happening to the Bulldogs a little bit at this point.
Well, it's an ugly game at the moment. 3-6 to 2-2.
When the Western Bulldogs had the real run of the game, they were having a really low number of disposals per inside 50. It was down to about 7 disposals per inside 50. St Kilda were going at about 20. In the past 3 or 4 minutes, the Western Bulldogs would have blown that margin out, and they're playing into St Kilda's hands. That's the way it sort of feels at the moment.
On the basis, because they're dominating the game, but St Kilda are keeping them just very small margin, 10-point margin when they're in control of most parts of the game.
Yes.
It's like the old rope-a-dope for the Saints, isn't it? That's better. And that time it needed to be precise. There wasn't much room in there to squeeze the ball to Eagleton, but they managed to. Mark is taken by Hahn. He's already kicked a goal in this term. Lays it off. Storming through is Murphy. Has he got the right connection? Not quite. Big leap down there. Unable to take the mark was Everett. Jones bounces off Everett and/or Hall. Both of them, in fact. Comes to Dawson. Missed now by Clark. Paddles it across. He's going to get a free kick, Clark. Gardner, oblivious to that, is paddling on. But Clark made to earn that free with his side down by 10 points.
Been really interested the way St Kilda have used Stephen Milne tonight. He's really been playing pretty much back half.
Hey.
The blood. Give me a look, folks. No, take your kick. He's right, Brendan.
He's as good as goal.
You can only see out of one eye, but don't kick with your eye.
Very superficial, that umpire. Hargrave, no match for King. As a left half back.
But that
5 minutes
point
from half time.
you still think Milne's most likely to kick multiple goals for St Kilda, but he's not really playing forward half. So St Kilda are really setting this game up to be about a 5 or 6 goal game and hope they can get the 6.
King towards the boundary. Cross. Little 1-2 there between Cooney and Ackermanis.
They've got to go quick.
That last mark that King took for the Saints, in fact, was their first in a sequence of 26 marks in this game. The others all with the Dogs.
It's funny what you say about Stephen Milne not playing in the front half of the ground. No St Kilda player is.
That's true.
You're spot on. They're really sort of playing the game in their defensive half and making it a really defensive battle.
On the outer side, Blake. Now, quick thrust. Stephen to Gardner. Del Santo is running inside the forward 50. Not sure about that kick. Cross was in front. Del Santo applied some pressure. Morris did well to get boot to ball.
Good play
inside the forward 50. Harbrow did brilliantly to Addison. Now, perhaps, Grant sold a teammate into trouble. Everett ran into the clutches there of Baker. Back to Baker. Everett, or is it Grant? Grant goes after him. Everett dives after the football with McWalter. Grant tries to feed it out. Ackermanis heard a voice, but getting between he and the voice was Baker. McWalter, Schneider, confronted down there by Morris. Gang tackle on Schneider. And a ball out 35 metres out from goal.
You don't want to be too hard on a young player, but young Grant is just finding the tempo of the game a little too much at the moment.
Harbrow. Hasn't he developed? Ackermanis. Cooney out of defence, up towards the wing. Roughhead just through the interchange gates. Chases Gwilt, who goes across the ground through the legs of Ray. Time to recover. Cross. Eyeballs him. Slipping away is Ray. Bacon square. Off target behind.
Yeah, they are now. I mean, I thought that Everett, as I said, Everett and Grant have been a bit fumbly, but Everett's desperation in that ground level ball, he actually made the sort of error in the first place, but the desperation to make up for his own error, always a good thing.
And the only way you're going to learn in big games is when you get the opportunity to play them. And if you can do that in round 6 early in the season, it's a great result.
Out of defence, Gilby then. Towards midfield, they come from all directions. Loose at the back, Johnson. Hahn. Thought about a hand pass, then spotted a man forward. That's Murphy. Murphy needs a long lead. Spots the vacant square and/or Hall. Slewed off the side of the boot. Hall outnumbered. Well done, Gilbert. Comes through with dash. Knocked the ball in front. Searching kick towards the wing taken by Goddard. Slips a hand pass away to Hayes. Hayes around the corner. Jones stood his ground. Knocked away by Hargrave. Hargrave kicks back inside the forward 50. Eagleton gave a contest. They've got the spear man. Comes across towards Hall from Johnson. Left the footy behind. Putting the body in down there was Eagleton. Back comes Gilbert. Socket off the ground by Johnson. Along the ground all the way. Nothing to worry about, Bulldogs fans.
Oh, he's got away with one there.
Boundary throw in. King knocks it down. Hayes, Ray, Gwilt. Outside the defensive 50, Del Santo.
A bit of an interesting stat. That was only the third boundary throw in for the quarter. It just goes to show how much the game has been played inside the corridor in a contested situation.
I reckon Bruce is such a good judge. He knew the score would be 3-7 to 2-3 at half time. Short one comes from Goddard to King. Ray. Across the ground. Blake. Dawson. Baker. Well, 10 on 10 as it turned out. Eagleton got him. The kick scrubs across towards a teammate in Blake. He was taken down. Murphy dunked out of there by Blake. Only as far as Lake. And Lake goes in short and finds high.
And he needs to make them pay. They're 3 goals, 7. Just got to go back and kick the goal. There's nothing like scoreboard pressure, is there?
These 40-metre set shots, that's about where they're going to be mostly taken.
Yep.
Question is, can you nail them?
So, Hahn has kicked 1 goal.
Or Eagleton a 55-metre shot. I'm not quite sure whether he's in a better position than Hahn was. In fact, I'm sure he's not.
No.
Clock is running too.
You'd almost back Eagleton on the run from here.
And he will run quickly and try and kick the ball firmly.
Kicked 3 last week.
No.
Got right under this one. Roughhead, can he take a mark down there? Up goes Gardner. Higgins in a tight spot. Roughhead concedes some ground. Eagleton went to ground, taken by Hahn. Crossed the body only as far as Gwilt, and we're down to 14 seconds, and I would say the danger is past. So this could well be the halftime score. Kazitsky up he goes, couldn't take the mark. 3 dogs on the deck. Williams has got it. We're down to 3 seconds. Fumble. That's it. Halftime. A slugfest. And the margin is 10 points the Bulldogs' way. In 3-7-25 to 2-3-15.
They have done well, haven't they, to stay that close, St Kilda. They've dominated most parts of the game, the Bulldogs, but the scoreboard's the thing that counts, and St Kilda are certainly well in that.
So on Friday night football, this game very much in the balance. Looks like after the break, we'll start again. Stick around for the halftime show.
Footy attracts fans of all shapes and sizes, both young and old, presidents, PMs and premiers. It may have been thumbs up for the players, but Choco's cameo didn't rate so highly.
You'd think he'd replace the divot, wouldn't you?
Nathan Jones rated a perfect 10 for his Tim Watson impersonation.
And they've kicked 2 in the first half here, so that's 4 for a full game of footy, albeit in 2 states, spread over quite a few days.
Play on.
So away we go for the second half. Not playing in there. Gilby drives it down towards right half forward. Going back is Fisher. In trouble. Hayes, 23 possessions now. What a game he's playing. Ray under pressure. Montagna into the clutches of Murphy. Socket off the ground by Higgins down towards full forward. Dawson back in familiar territory. Gwilt drives it towards the outer side. Cross is going back. Eyes only for the football. Montagna. Cooney knocked down by Del Santo. Strong tackle by Higgins. Baker did nicely. Judged the hand pass beautifully. Hayes, Ray, King, Jones, Hayes. Now Montagna. McWalter. Montagna runs hard. Kicks it down towards half forward. Oh, that's terrific. Milne gets on the end of it directly in front.
Well, he's in there to start this this quarter, and so is Goddard, and so is Kazitsky. So I think St Kilda know they've got to actually be able to get 7 or 8 goals to have a chance of winning the game. And Milne is one of the ones.
50 metres.
And a 50-metre penalty to make it a certainty.
It's one of the absolute coach killers. The Jimmy Steins run across the man on the mark.
Tom Williams ran right through the mark.
So Milne gets the goal, and I'm sure Jim would rather it be known as the Tom Williams run across the mark. Yeah, I know.
Always wondered with that one, Lee, as a coach in that situation, as a player, do you really need to deliver that message?
Well, that's a good point. Do you need to deliver the message? Maybe it's just one of those, a 50-metre penalty, you automatically come off. But, well, he was coming off anyway. He was heading to the interchange bench, but just took the shortcut.
He's a clairvoyant.
Maybe Tommy Williams should have said you shouldn't have taken me off at that stage of the game. So, Tom just
cruises across. Now, what was he thinking? 50. Milne gets the goal, and suddenly 4 points is the margin. Thank goodness for those 50-metre penalties tonight. Otherwise, we would have had no goals.
Absolutely. I think he just said, I've got to go to the interchange, and had the blinkers on, didn't he?
I think he's got due cause to blame that one on Rocket. He's taken him off at the wrong time of the game. Joke.
Spoken like a player, right? Yeah. Everett. Sweeping hand pass forward of the play. John Siracusa takes something off the kick. Higgins is in front, and he's going to get a free kick over the shoulder. That was clever by Higgins. He played for that. He worked back into Baker, and Baker almost no alternative.
That ability to push back hard when you're in the front position, just to make it more difficult for the defender to get at you, and often that defender, in trying to spoil, as Baker did, comes over the top.
It's those smaller half-forward sort of players that have the ability to take a mark. I mean, Brad Johnson's the stereotypical one at the Western Bulldogs. Paul Chapman for Geelong. Invaluable if you can do the damage on the ground, but also up in the air.
This game in danger of breaking open. Back-to-back goals. Higgins runs to the 50. Kick is on its way. That's a beautiful effort. That's why he's so highly regarded. Terrific goal.
That is a great finish, isn't it? We've said a lot, certainly the Bulldogs, they have to kick those long-range goals, because St Kilda with Hall, Sid Fisher had hold of Hall pretty much deep in, so that was good. Gilbert gets back there to give the extra height. Now we've got Dawson on Hall, but the Bulldogs, don't want to go deep and quick.
Yeah.
So most of their shots are being generated from around the 50-metre line.
The long goal is the one, and you hit it on the nail on the head. It's got to be a quick entry.
There was a situation where they had a one-on-one contest deep, and they had a one-on-one contest in the forward flank, and they went to the forward flank.
10 points the margin. King only as far as Cooney. Claimed by Hayes. Down goes Del Santo, spills across to Griffin. Geary grabs him.
Thank you. Thanks, Ryan.
That's Robbo, isn't it, from Game Day?
That dog was delighted, I think. Down towards half forward. What if that dog was a closet Saints supporter? Ball comes out towards Jones. Goddard ricochets off cross, who goes and gets his own ball. John Siracusa touched off the boot. Johnson, half chance. Montagna a fumble. Johnson bears down. Gilbert, Baker, Gwilt, well worked. Clark. Nice stuff by the Saints. We saw them so gritty a couple of weeks back, and again tonight. They won't go away. Del Santo got it from Hayes. Not his best kick. Kazitsky's got a run though. Ricochets off his chest. Knocked forward down there by McWalter. Across to Schneider. Schneider upended. That was interesting. I think his left foot gave way as he kicked there, and he's put it out of bounds on the full. What happened? Well, he was pushed in the back is what happened. But Schneider, I think umpires think that he's a clapper, and as a result, he doesn't get much.
Doesn't get much.
Hudson. Do they remember Lee, do you think?
Oh, I think they do.
Yeah, they do. Hand pass from Everett. Johnson falling to the ground. McWalter. King under pressure. Gets a kick off. It was touched off the boot. Harbrow's been very good. Gilbert. Ray. Kicks inside the forward 50. Jones met the ball well. Controls it nicely. Tried to lay it off. Stolen by Lake. Well done, Jones. Forced the error. Taken by McWalter. How about that? Fair exchange. Harbrow gave it to John Siracusa. Kicks it inside the centre square. Hahn. Cooney.
Look at that great hand pass.
Eagleton feeds it back. Gilby. Normally razor sharp in this situation. It does bounce, but it gets to Murphy. Not his best kick. Camped underneath it. Grant. That's a good grab.
It's important Grant took that mark. We commented during the second quarter there was a little bit fumbly in the contest, so that'll do his confidence the world of good.
Told to play on. First kick it, son. Oops.
And that might not.
No, well, he saw that there were some Kilda players forward. There were some Kilda players sideways. He virtually had nowhere to go. In a way, he just drew a stoppage, which was as good as anything that he could have set up.
I think that is time for the rugby league bomb. Just kick it as high as you can and everybody chase it down there. That is the coming thing in football. Gilbert goes across, particularly tonight.
In that kick, he's on the wing, and if your teammates are all trying to set up sideways, basically you've just got you outnumbered down the line, and that's really what happened with Grant. So he had to try and overplay it.
Oops. Geary just on the ground, close to the boundary line. Still in. Ackermanis did well. Collision coming up. Ackermanis tried to knock it out. Geary is dragged out by Hahn.
An interesting stat before is that the Western Bulldogs took 83 marks in the first quarter, and that last mark we saw of Grant was the first one of this quarter. So the game's being played at a different style and different tempo at the moment.
Cooney arches the back, slips away, cross. Cooney, the cross half back, and he goes right back to the pocket. Right, bit of a problem. Controlled it pretty well. Hargrave. Now Morris is on. He goes to Morris with an untidy kick, and it bounces out of bounds. Oh, gee.
Boy, there's must be something disinfectant or something in the centre square. No one wants to go through it. Yeah. I mean, I think there's an expectation you're going to be outnumbered forward, so you go sideways even when you don't have to.
Like the inferred pressure.
Yeah.
Griffin. Gilby around the outer side. Now he works it back. That's a good kick. That's a beauty. Hall up on the lead. He's got the ball a long way from home. Ackermanis kicks inside the forward 50. In front, Grant. Well, he's got a few to beat down there. Jackie Chan odds, and he did brilliantly. Gave it to Higgins, who misses.
Well, that was we spoke about. That was orchestrated by Gilby bringing the ball back into the centre corridor. I think Gilby and Hargrave are the players. They've got to get the Dogs have to get the ball into their hands, and they really do have to take the risk and bring the ball back in the guts of the ground, because although Higgins grubbed it through a point, that was the avenue to go.
It was a scoring shot that was set up by a quick movement forward rather than by the boundary line.
Well done by Jared Grant. Outnumbered, but he kept on fighting on. Now Gilbert close to the boundary line. They are masters of going wide, both these clubs at the moment. Baker right on the line, sends it around the outer side. Gardner split the pack and goes again. Down went Acker. Ray feeds it back. Montagna. Hayes in the grasp. Ray around the outer side against his old club. Hargrave in the road to Everett. Everett across half back, spots Harbrow. Now he kicks beyond that man. Grant has to wait. Gilbert is coming. Well done. Grant shielded the ball, giving Gilbert no play.
We saw Harbrow lurking around Grant there. It's almost just a quick handball off and generate the run from the mark.
Murphy, that's a good grab. Straight up.
St Kilda have always got the spare number back, but you've got to get it there quick.
Now Gwilt, I think, had hold of him when he left. Harbrow got it from cross, goes in short. The mark is taken by Cooney. Oh dear, oh dear. Milne's got it. Run down from behind by Gilby holding the ball. They knew Gilby was coming with a full head of steam. And the problem for Stevie was to get those little legs going in the other direction. Williams to left half forward and Murphy. Murphy comes back to Williams. It's across towards the middle and finds Everett. Everett, the short one, onto the chest of Fisher. Just imagine if you brought some rallies from overseas tonight to watch this and you'd spoken this game up. It hasn't been a classic of what we've come to expect from Aussie rules, as the short one goes in from Clark and it's marked by McWalter. But it's a contest. Jones. Maybe take the rallies home and show them a tape of another game.
I think so.
Jones hooks it towards the pocket. They still can't go in straight. They're playing the boundary line. It's out of bounds.
See the turnover there. Sam Fisher, an expert at reading the ball off the opposition's kick. Rodney Eade obviously not very happy.
They've kicked it to each other a few times, both teams.
Having trouble digesting those turnovers. Poor old Rocket. Blake tries to knock it out. It's a scramble. Clark. Harbrow didn't have the football. Gets the free kick. 9 points the difference.
Stay clear. Thanks, Stephen.
4-8 to 3-3.
Move it on.
You watch a game like this, you sometimes think grounds are too small. There's just not enough space when every 36 players are in one half.
Wilt goes back looking for support, found it in Dawson. In trouble, Del Santo. Dawson did well. Jones worked against the boundary line by Hahn. Kicking is not his best feature. That's a high ball. Working his way into that pack. Hudson couldn't take the mark. Advanced by Stephen. Knocked down by Griffin. Well played, Griffin. Strong tackle. Got the hand pass away, though. Hargrave. Gilby to the opposite side of the ground. Morris now cruising past is Higgins. He pops the ball to open space. Look out. John Siracusa must get 50. But Goddard, that wasn't a bad 50 to concede.
Yes, you'll see the St Kilda players flood back while the 50 metres is being awarded.
Just have it above him, straight in the back.
It's going to be interesting to see how both sides are faring halfway through the last quarter. It's been a really taxing game. Massive amounts of forward transition, defensive transition. The players are going to be out on their legs pretty quickly, and the side that can really execute their skills probably at this stage of the game and challenge the goal face is the side that's going to win it.
Griffin comes to Gilby. Who will that side be, do you think, Tom?
Look, I mean, you'd say the Western Bulldogs, but they're playing into St Kilda's hands, and if it comes down to a real arm wrestle, it's anyone's game.
Williams. Crowd getting restless.
Oh, Stephen out.
Addison.
It's where Ben Hudson, Gardner is actually the big ruckman for St Kilda's in that back 50, and Hudson's cruising around out on the forward flank. Sometimes he's got to get the height in there to make sure, well, if we bomb it in, at least we've got equal numbers of tall players.
The technique often that the really good ruckman forward players do is go to, say, the Gardner, actually engage him, then the short, sharp 5 or 10 metre lead and try to get that on it.
Murphy goes deep to the pocket this time, and it's out of bounds.
I think that might be all right up the other end. I think Gardner could do that if Hudson was defending, but I'm not quite sure that Hudson as a forward is able to move into line as some can.
Now that's on the full two-up. Harry Hall is not a happy camper in the goal square, gesticulating to his teammates. Now a free kick inside the 50, not in the ruck contest, on the perimeter against Quilp for holding.
I suspect that's trying to stop Roughhead being the third up jumper. And just a little bit of impediment was enough for the umpire.
Just the arm round, the left arm round the back. The umpire had a perfect view of that and got the decision right.
Well, we liked this young man last week on Friday Night Football.
Another foot-long shot.
Jordan Roughhead steps inside the 50. Kick is on its way. Oh, it's in the jeans. Puts it through.
He's been impressive in the 2 games that we've seen, Roughhead. It's making life difficult for a big Will Minson, obviously, but Rocket Eat and the coaching staff, we just see here, it's probably a Dennis line, is he? Wilty, Dennis. But young Roughhead, obviously, he earned the free kick. He's gone back and he's kicked the goal. He's shown a lot as a young, promising ruckman in the 2 games he's played.
Tommy, you've got too much stature in the game to be doing that sort of stuff.
It's Will Minson who's lost his spot for Roughhead. Roughhead actually was recruited in the draft choice for Farron Ray swap.
Sometimes it's hard to enjoy your replacement success. I don't care what you say. Del Santo, Montagna, Jones.
It's only a team game if you're in the team.
That's right. You want to eye in the team before you do anything else. Here's Stephen. Montagna hard against the boundary line. Bounces it inside the forward 50. Well done by Morris to Cooney. The cross gave it away. McWalter, Jones, Ray. A lot of hand passing, resulting in the kick from King. Going back, Williams did well. He and Kazitsky running back. Hahn coming back with a flight. Took the mark and squeezes a nice kick to Johnson.
It was great play by Williams. He engaged Kazitsky in the marking context without obviously impeding and giving away a free kick.
Kazitsky seemed a little too eager to go. Johnson along the line. John Siracusa. His 19th possession. Across the ground. Hargrave. We're counting down to 3/4 time on Friday Night Football. And this is a monumental lead. 17 points, almost double St Kilda's score. But of course, The game changes and tactics change. Not insurmountable. Hahn comes to the football. Off hands Ackermanis. Slippery.
Good use.
Grant. Addison, not their best ball user. Back to Grant. That was good. Now he can run at them. Hall is headed back to the square. Lovely kick. The youngster shows them what to do.
Again, centre corridor football. You sometimes just got to take the punt, don't you? I just think the most of the night they've been dominating the game, the Bulldogs, but they've been a bit afraid to try and go through the middle.
And that's what St Kilda have done over the years. They've instilled that into the opposition side.
Barry's got the goal.
But you're right, Lee, you've got to take the game on, and it does take some real courage because St Kilda used the whole ground defensively so well that you need, there's courage on the field to go back with the flight and put your head over the ball, but there's also courage when you've got the ball in hand, and to actually take the game on through the middle of the ground is really important. And we've seen on a number.
And the confidence in the kicker, Ackermanis has got that. He's got confidence in his kicking to try that dangerous run into the middle.
Clever football by Barry Hall.
He was able to move around like that and get behind Dawson because the ball was coming forward with some real momentum, and he had confidence that the ball was going to end up in his hands from a long penetrating forward 50 kick.
Hudson to Cooney, dragged down. Del Santo again inside the forward 50. Milne almost a free in front there. Ricochets off Williams. Goddard almost into the back there of Lake. Well played by Stephen. Del Santo couldn't quite get through. Went looking for Hayes. Thumped out of there by Harbrow. With the run of the football, Addison worked off the line of the footy though by Gwilt. Falling to the ground. On his knees, Schneider. Goddard, a little 1-2 with King. Across it comes to Ray. Goes to Fisher. Little chip pass finds McWalter. The last 9 times inside their forward 50, the Saints have failed to score. The last 4 times for the Western Bulldogs, they've kicked 3-1. And prior to that last entry, the last 4 had come from the Dogs. Montagna forced away from the 50. Smothered off the boot by Ackermanis. The kick from Fisher then goes only about 10 metres. Crashing his way through Goddard. Ill-directed was the hand pass taken by Hahn. Goes back to Cooney. Cooney goes to the outer side, and Johnson off his step, back-pedalling. As a result, didn't get much on the kick. Went looking for Ackermanis. Clark's over the football. Acker swoops, and the ball is out of bounds.
On that statistic, Dennis, about the inside 50s and not scoring, St Kilda, if they're going to be a genuine flag threat, are going to have to find avenues towards goal. We all know how fantastic a player Nick Riewoldt is, but he's not going to be there for the majority of the season, so they need someone to stand up and put some scoreboard pressure on from the effort from the St Kilda midfielders that they're providing them with.
Schneider found a way through, kicks inside the forward 50, 2-on-1. Morris got it on the ground, the 1, feisty, dragged down, got out a sweeping hand pass, running up the ground is Armitage, and he's kicked a goal. Long time coming, so important.
Yes, that margin said there was only 3 or 4 goals, but in the way this game's being played, St Kilda haven't been able to just get the scoreboard ticking at all. It's kind of like broken goals. They just don't look like they're able to set up goals. Every now and again the ball will fall for someone and they'll have a shot, but just at the moment Goddard, Kosicki, Milne, they're all in the forward 50 now, but being pretty much controlled by their Bulldogs opponents.
Who do you think, Lee? Who is the potential match winner goal kicker for the St Kilda? You mentioned some names before, but who are the ones that can really get the jump done?
I think they're all in there. I think Kosicki, Goddard and Milne are the most likely, and they're in there. So all you can do is put them in the area and try and get the ball to them.
King thumps it forward, helped on its way by McWalter. Down goes Blake, willing worker. Hayes, spark of energy from the Saints suddenly, spurred on by that last goal. Here's Milne, turns his man inside out. No, he did not. Morris in his hip pocket stayed with him, and the ball is out of bounds.
I really like that matchup, Dale Morris. He's just a fantastic player and almost the perfect physical matchup for Milne because he is so strong through the hips.
King, only as far as Morris. John Siracusa didn't have the football, gets the free kick.
Never took the ball.
Not a lot of free kicks paid tonight, just 21 in total.
Thanks, Justin. Right on it.
14-7 the Dogs' way. Gilby in the defensive goal square.
Move it on. High on.
Drives it long. Good kick to Harbrow. The ball found him.
It's great vision to see, firstly, what Lindsay Gilbey had up ahead of him, now what Jared Harbrow's got ahead of him, and you can understand why there is a reluctance to use the corridor, because there just seems to be no space when you've got the ball in hand.
Geary comes across on the angle, knocks it out of bounds, straight towards Tim Watson, Tim.
Ross Lyon's changed the configuration of his forward line, which actually has changed the matchup too now for Stevie Milne. So Harbrow's gone to him and Morris has gone to Goddard. I reckon Milne's got a better chance of getting away from Harbrow than what he actually did from Dale Morris.
King had it knocked away. Siracusa. John Siracusa bounces it out of bounds.
And the flip side to Tim's comments is that Harbrow's been along with Gilbey, being the player most dangerous with the ball in hand coming off halfback. If he needs to spend more time defensively on Stephen Milne, that's a win for the Saints.
Gardner knocks it down. Del Santo, Ray, Jones, like his game. Across the field. Too much carry on the kick, though. Dawson needs to go. Needed to commit the body. Fisher did. Wilt's got it. Back to Jones. Jones, for a stopper, so much of the football gets it onto the chest of Goddard. Jones now 18 possessions. Goddard coming up for his 21st. Sends it down towards half forward. Gilbey reaches up, but no match there for Gardner.
Morris has come upfield with Goddard. I think that's partly because Goddard will try and charge into the forward line, and you want a defender on him rather than one of the Bulldogs midfielders not so equipped to spoil.
McWalter to Fisher. Just over 3 minutes to three-quarter time. Armitage, the high ball inside the forward 50. Gardner launched himself, a lot to launch. Cooney got it from Roughhead. Griffin's in trouble. Releases the ball just in the nick of time. Harbrow intercepted the Del Santo hand pass. Ackermanis. Griffin takes them on full-chested. Back to Harbrow. Now they're on. Grant cruising past his Harbrow. Can go in short. Well, that was a nothing kick. Wide of Hall. Gilbert gets back. Counter-attack coming up. Hand pass from Fisher. Untidy bounce from Gilbert. Runs away from Hall. Kicks it back inside the forward 50. Acker goes back. Sure-handed. Takes the mark. Plays on. Lake. Suddenly the game is starting to open up. Look at Cooney go. Cooney provides a target. It's all St Kilda up ahead. So he has to go back to Lake.
You asked me before where the game sit at the moment. The team that's going to win this game is it almost appears the team that turns the ball over less, because it's become such a high possession game with so much congestion through the middle of the ground.
Here's Hahn.
It'd take a massive turnover for the St Kilda to really regain the ascendancy, because the Bulldogs still look like the most likely to score.
In the context of this game, 17 points. Wow.
It's about a half's lead.
It's like the deck of the SS Arizona, or is that the USS Arizona? Doesn't matter. Something that's quite a ways. Low down. Eagleton. Oh, clever. Gilbey just flicked it across to accommodate Hahn. Over the top by Eagleton. Hahn run down. Wonderful chase there by Geary. Ball fell free. Hayes comes away. Goes back to half forward. Lunging mark taken by Del Santo. Saints not done with yet. McWalter, if they can get a late goal, still a show. Just over a minute till three-quarter time. Sets it up for Kazetsky. Too easy. Well played by Lake. What a consummate defender he is. Not the best of starts tonight, but fought his way back into the contest, and you get the feeling now he's the master. In midfield, Ray went down. Gilbert under pressure. Geary, an improving player, does the 360. Just got boot to ball through the interchange gates. McWalter knocked forward there by Clark. Too slick by Jones. Almost chopped off by Griffin. Didn't think Cooney had the ball. Dawson's got the ball. Wishes he hadn't. But at right angles in about 10 metres. Ackermanis gave it to Morris. Goes to the other side and Hargrave. Hahn is taking off. Hahn running towards the other side with Baker. Oh, that's a push in the back. Oh, Stevie.
Yeah, he had him cold. He was completely out of play. The ball had missed the bounce, so unnecessary free.
Hahn. Not sure what that was. Goddard's got it. Now, if ever a player looked to line up a kick deliberately and pop it to a player, that was it. Three-quarter time. And the Bulldogs with a handy lead. Is it a match-winning lead? They're up by 17 points, 6-8-44 to 4-3-27. The margin was 10 at the major break. It's now out to 17 on Friday Night Football.
Only so far in this game. They really need Cosy or someone, Goddard, perhaps anyone, just to take a mark, a big clunk inside the forward 50.
Maybe just get Revolt out there as a dummy. There's the bounce, knocked down by Hudson, taken by Cooney across to Cross, who kicks it towards half forward, hangs a long time in the air. Murphy was up, falls in front. Johnson manages to get a kick away. It was touched off the boot. Baker, who's been good, gave it to Jones, who's been terrific. Back he went to Blake, to Baker. Over the top to King, turns around, heard the voice, gave it across towards Lenny Hayes. Hayes running out of options. Clark. Stevie just getting up for his last effort to Blake. Now Gilbert's away, likes to run, likes to bounce. He's running, he's had a couple of bounces. Outside the defensive 50, Stevens slides in, takes the mark. 17 points the difference.
One back pocket to the other. Neither side really has been able to get into the centre corridor much, and when they do, there's a fair bit of scoring happened.
Kosetsky.
A lot of hugging the boundary.
There's exactly that. High ball towards Goddard. Morris got a fist on it. Williams wasn't pushed in the back, was taken down successfully by Schneider. Del Santo over the shoulder. Montagna, he was slung. Cooney, Addison, run down by Armitage, close to the boundary. Swooping on the loose ball, Higgins goes back to Eagleton. Across to Cooney, along the boundary. Good work. Murphy's got it. Now one out is Hall. Nothing clever about this, but it's punched away by Dawson. That was clever. Hand pass comes from Jones. Blake puts it on the deck. Wonderful balance. Johnson went down. Blake kept his footing. Hand passes across to Ray. Comes out towards the wing. Schneider takes the mark. Plays on. Along the boundary. In fact, crosses the boundary.
I really like the way the Western Bulldogs have set up defensively. We heard Leon Cameron say they need speed in the game. They've freed up Jared Harbrow, who was doing a defensive job on Milne. They've got Morris onto Goddard. They've got Hargrave onto Milne, which gives Harbrow the initiative to use the ball and damage off half-back.
Gilby. Hargrave. Cooney. Goes down towards half forward. Murphy under the football. Well,
played that well.
Yeah, Clark goes after it, applies a tackle on Eagleton. Murphy, sweeping hand pass away to Higgins. That's a clever kick. Up comes Hall, clatters into King. That hurt. Slapped out of there by King. In goes Higgins, met front on by Ray. Spills across towards Hayes. Hayes had it blanketed. Ricochets to Murphy. Murphy dangerous with the ball in hand. And that's beautiful. Gian Siracusa. Oh no! Gian Siracusa into Schneider. It ricochets across there to Armitage. What a golden opportunity. I'd like to see Rocket now. No, I wouldn't. Blake's got the football. Over the top, Goddard took his eyes off the footy there. Over the football in the opposite direction was Morris. Addison, Hahn, clever kick. Ackermanis, high ball towards full forward. Gilbert will fly from the side.
Stay clear. Stay clear.
Gilbert to Clark.
Thanks, Sean.
I got to say, Bruce is a genius. Clark has got the ball in the back pocket.
Move it on, Raph. Play on. Play on.
To Baker.
It's almost like the players out there have conceded the ball movement's going to be slow and therefore aren't actually working the lines and working their way through the zone. The players look genuinely tired out there on their legs.
Ray.
Hold there, Jace. Hold.
They're tired. I want to try watching this time. Ball goes back to the middle. Blake got it from Baker. Gilbert. In its way, a remarkable night. Gilbert may go to Fisher and or longer to Ray. He's going for Ray. That's a good grab. Bearing down Jan Siracusa against his old mate, Farron Ray. There's a lot of one-on-ones up ahead. I don't see too many Dogs back, and he was still reluctant to kick.
Ready, go.
Higgins appears to be hurt. Watch this again.
Oh, head on knee.
Yep.
Gutsy by Higgins. Hudson could have almost got a free. Cooney swoops on it to Johnson. Short one to Hahn. Hasn't stopped presenting.
Starting to get clear, isn't he, Cooney? He's been pretty good all night, but just he's started to find some space just this last 5 minutes. And when he's got a bit of time and space and he's able to run and kick, that's when he's really good.
Have a look at the vision there. There's absolutely nowhere to go. The Bulldogs are either going to have to go right across the other side of the ground and do it very quickly, because going back down the line, it plays into their hands, just like here in St Kilda, win the ball back. And then give it back.
Cooney's had 30 possessions now.
Lindsay Gilby's kick. Lindsay Gilby's kick.
So Gilby.
Play on, you come in, Lindsay, play on.
Wow. Cross. Now Eagleton's on, and or Harbrow. Gilby.
Play. Again.
Gilby to midfield. That's a good kick. Just lobbed it to Cross. He's not normally a good kick, and that was no exception. Griffin somehow won it away from Goddard. Looks inside the forward 50. Barry Hall could have been held. Hahn arrives quickly. Tried to spin out of trouble. Nothing doing. Was taken down by Clark. Fisher gets back. Little 1-2 with Baker. Now Fisher against the boundary line. Stops. Hand passes to Baker. Baker, some indecision, goes to Clark.
Hold there.
Clark will go to the opposite back pocket, and Blake. Almost half the quarter gone. 44-27. Just on the ground, Schneider. Schneider. Del Santo very much left-sided. Harbrow not quick to pick that up. Goddard almost the mark. Oh, gutsy. Was juggling it and went after it. Amongst the legs of Cooney. Looks across the ground. Kicks it onto the 50. Storming up is Milne. That's holding it surely. Hand passes across to Jones. Jones gets the kick away. Williams knocks it down. Schneider, Montagna. And there is justice. Tim?
Well, St Kilda that has to change the way they're playing. I mean, the Bulldogs have got the lead. They'll be quite happy if the game continues on the way it is at the moment. They've got to be a little bit more bolder, a little bit braver about the way they attack and try and come through the corridor. At the moment, they're just too stagnant across half-back when they're moving the ball. Somebody actually has to take the bit between the teeth and actually try and break the lines a bit.
Morris kicks in. Up goes Lake. I think with intent knocked it down to Cooney. Now he's in trouble. Williams. Who does that runner belong to? Get out of there. Harbrow. Harbrow kicks it back towards the wing. Gilbert misses it. There's a chance for Williams. Out of bounds.
It's interesting on that last kick out. Dale Morris took the kick out. It's the one time of the game where you've got absolute control of the play and the ability to play on really quickly. In that situation, I would have loved to have seen the ball in Gilby's hand or Harbrow's hand to take the game on and split it open through the middle.
Inside 50, 6-1 in the term, favouring the Dogs. Gilby. Eagleton. Out of bounds. So we played about 7 minutes of actual game time for one inside 50 for his team. It's hard to win if that's what you're going to do. Cross wants to be third man up, helped on his way by Goddard through the legs of Hayes. Jan Siracusa, Goddard, Dawson, Jones. High ball towards half forward. Gilby is dropping back. Well, didn't really compete. Knocked on its way there by Schneider inside the 50. Second time inside the 50, but it's chopped off by Harbrow. Hammers a hand pass out to Griffin. Gets it across to Gian Siracusa. He finds Roughhead. Running for him now from half-back is Gilby once more. Goes to cross. It's opening up. Here comes a goal. Eagleton just pops it over the top. And for all their effort, the Saints in desperate trouble. In disarray at the back. And now Grant, playing only his 3rd game, maybe a chance to lock it up right here.
And another time they got through the centre corridor and they set up a scoring opportunity. It hasn't happened often, but it's just been the only way, really, the Bulldogs have scored.
What did Bruce say about Chris Grant? Let's see if Jared Grant can kick a goal here. No. Behind. Let off for the Saints. May not be terminal, but still leaves St Kilda with a chance. Goddard not happy with the teammate. Kicks it to himself. I think he's going straight down the middle. So suddenly a change of attitude. Roar from the crowd. They enjoyed that. Addison gives it across to Cooney. Harbrow finds his way through. Men on inside the forward 50. He goes back and finds Grant again. I'd suggest too far out to score.
Hasn't Harbrow just 3 or 4 times in this last 5 minutes found his way through the pressure? What ties deep in defence and that one up in the wing.
And Harbrow 32 possessions now, career high.
So important is it the player who actually can take the pressure and actually just get that yard or 2 into space. Harbrow does it beautifully.
He's backed up with 12 contested possessions, the leading hard ball get player for the Western Bulldogs tonight.
So Grant from 60 metres out. That's a heck of a kick. About 5 metres from the line. The mark is taken by Gardner. Gardner in defence then to the pocket. Baker to the run of Gilbert. Comes up to half back Gilbert. Kicks towards the wing. Edged under the football was Stephen. Lurking at the back was Gilby. Well worked with Morris. Runs to the wing. Hand passes looking for Cross. He was upended. Chance there for Fisher. Across towards Del Santo. Hot ball. Diving in there was Harbrow. Gilbert feeds it back now. Hayes with a chance that he fumbled. Hayes in trouble. Fisher tries to help him out. More gridlock and a bounce on the wing.
Gee, it's been a hot ball all night, and that means there's been guys fumbling that you don't normally see fumbling because that referred pressure is so intense. Ron Hughes still having a good night?
Oh, well, he's doing what he does best. The head pass comes from Higgins, missed Gian Siracusa. Roughhead. Gian Siracusa down towards half forward. Blake Gilbert trying to find a way through. Down there was Gwelt, nothing doing. Johnson stood his ground. In goes Ray, tackled by Johnson.
Thank you, guys. Good work.
There you go. So what have they got now? 28. Record in danger. Oof. This is exciting. Hudson knocks it inside the forward 50. Up comes Johnson. Johnson hooks it down towards full forward. Getting back is Fisher. Fisher to the pocket. Gilbert. This is winning ugly, whoever wins this. But they'll take it. Gilbert up the middle this time. Del Santo and Addison. Del Santo stayed on his feet and won the football. Now he's away. Comes to half forward. Milne breaking back hard is Schneider. He looks for Schneider. Schneider about 25 metres out. Can't get to the footy. Traps it though. Still going. Flicks it on to accommodate Montagna. And Montagna somehow got it to go left to right. Remarkable.
The positive was that they came back through the middle. It probably took a little bit too long for Gilbert to get the ball to Del Santo, but it happened once it got there. It happened quickly. It's the only way I can see St Kilda getting back into the game and kicking a winning score.
Everett drives to the outer side. Courage there from Geary, wins a free kick.
Well, they have to. I mean, the Bulldogs could just play patient outside football. They've generated the lead, but St Kilda have to just take a punt, take a few risks.
Game is still winnable for the Saints. A couple of let-offs recently. Centering kick from Geary. Off hands, it falls behind. Higgins goes in, foxes it. Hand passes to Cooney, who gives it to Hahn. Comes out to the wing, taken by Murphy. Murphy just backs off Blake. Oh, untidy. Higgins played it pretty well. Murphy. Higgins. How about that for a reflex? Higgins was on the ground. then on one knee and up almost in the same movement. You talk about athleticism. Watch this again. He gets the hand pass back. Whoop, whoop. So quick. Gardner flicks it down behind. Del Santo advances the footy. Armitage falling to the ground to Goddard to Hayes. Baker slams it on the boot inside the forward 50. Gardner knocked away by Williams. Well played. Everett knocked it forward. Taken by Jones. Del Santo on his left foot. Kicks a goal. Or does he? It's just floating away. It was on line for so long and missed by less than a metre.
You don't want to harp on it, but how important is Nick Riewoldt as a footballer to the St Kilda Football Club? I mean, it's almost too obvious on this occasion, and it's not. It's something they're going to have to work out because they need someone to stand up and take a mark inside 50.
Grant on the outer side. Well, they kicked 6 goals for the game last week. Admittedly, it rained. Tonight, it might be raining, but not in here. They've kicked 4.
Yes, they were so keen, I think, to make sure the Bulldogs got crowded up but couldn't generate any run. They made it so difficult for them to score themselves. But I guess you can't have it all ways, and that was the way they went into the game. And just haven't looked like being able to put scoreboard pressure on.
Ball to the outer side. Hall reaches over the top. Roughhead clatters into the pack. Baker did well. Ray feeds it off. Clark. Now Hayes. Forward of the wing. Kicks inside the forward 50. Dogs back in number. Loose ball falls to Milne. Milne snaps and hits the post.
If you went into the game
now.
If you went into the game with the end result being keeping the Western Bulldogs to 50 points, from a defensive indicator, you'd reckon you'd win the game. But it's just been a remarkably defensive game of football.
A lot of talk about Nick Riewoldt being back for the finals. Well, they've got to make the finals. Looking at their second consecutive loss right here, and they're just not kicking goals. Free kick is going to Hahn. He's played quite a game too. Coming up for his 23rd possession, and when he gets 23, they're generally pretty hard, as was the case with that one. There's Lake. Lake drives it towards the wing. Harbrow has to wait. Oh, that's almost a clever mark. He's going to get the free. Advantage is paid. Johnson to Harbrow. Runs across the ground to Ackermanis. Back to Harbrow. It's in good hands across the ground. They get a man free. Hahn's got the ball. Cooney is on. Gives it to Gilby, who now uses Cooney. Cooney, the defensive side of the wing. He decides to run at them. Cooney through midfield. Kicks it down towards the attacking 50. Good kick too. Roughhead. Gilby. Runs to 50. Gilby. Long kick. Misses.
Now, Dennis, I'm going to play the role of Bruce McAvaney here for a moment. This is the 474th game at Etihad Stadium, and never before has there been a combined score of both teams of less than 100 points.
Well,
yeah.
Well done.
In my mind's eye, I can see Bruce saying that. Well done, Tom. On the outer side, knocked down by Hahn. Well played. Gilby's through again. A centering kick this time. Higgins can't get to the contest. And Fisher takes the mark. They're under siege. Had a good 5 minutes, but now it's the Dogs who are coming. Kazetsky. His own fans on his back, I think. McWalter drops the footy. Kazetsky out of the back pocket. Touch ball. Cross. Harbrow, who's been wonderful, didn't take it that time. Ackermanis slides in, did pretty well. He tied up Geary. On his knees there is Clark across to Ray. Ray, high ball. It's 2-on-1. This is a real chance for the Dogs. Taken there by Morris. Tries to get it back over his shoulder to Hahn and succeeded. Hahn goes short to Williams. Oh, terrible fumble. McWalter inside the forward 50 to Milne. Milne along the ground. Gets it to go through. Look at the celebration. Stevie Milne. Just imagine if Jeff Plummer did that. He celebrated that way. They fixed the leak.
I guess we see the kind of turnover that happens if you're in the centre square and turn the ball over. But gee, I mean, I know the tackling pressure has been intense tonight, but that missed target, that missed fumble, and it opened up St Kilda. They've had 3 missed shots. And Mills kicked that one, but they're actually at least getting their hands on the footy, St Kilda. The question is, the scoring has been so hard.
Once again, it was a brave kick in there. It was a 2-on-1 that the Saints actually went to. Bulldogs 2-1. They were able to work their way through the corridor. They are the sort of risks they still have to take in the latter stages of this game.
Poor old Rocket. Tommy Williams. Well, it might take the hit off Brian Lake. Coming up the ground, the hand pass from Fisher. Here come the Saints again. Buoyed by that last goal. McWalter's got it. Within striking distance, certainly. Comes out wide. Kazitsky's marked 60 metres from goal. Looks back towards the middle. Goddard is headed down towards the square. Milne will fly from behind. Big pack off hands. Hacked out of midair by Armitage. 3 points the difference.
Well, that was always going to be the danger of a low-scoring game. It takes two goals in quick succession to bring the game right back in, and who would have thought that St Kilda probably look in the box seat. But great to see Justin Kazitsky just turn and go. You need to just get the ball in there, get the ball in deep, and things tend to happen. And we've got a game on our hands now, no doubt about that.
Those Saints. For the 5th time in his career, a multiple goal scorer is David Armitage. He's got 2 tonight. Last 3 goals in the game to the Saints. They trail by 3, 4 minutes to go, and this place suddenly is alight once more. Hudson battles in there, spills out. Hand pass stolen away. It came from Cross into the hands of Montagna. In front, down there is Morris. Knocks it to his own advantage. Tries to soccer. Miscued. Taken by Geary. Kicks it to no man's land. Harbrow peels off. That was terrific. Came to meet the footy. Tries to crash his way through. Nothing doing. Coming to meet him was Stephen. And the ball is out of bounds. Wonderful.
Justin Kazitsky into the ruck just to see if he can actually become an extra link man after the ruck work. Good move.
Run down by Hudson. Got out upended. Over the ball, Geary. Opportunity there for Del Santo. The hand pass to Jones. Floats it down towards full forward. Coming up was Lake. Two-fisted, close to the boundary line. It's still in. Lake battles with Stephen. And they roll it across the line.
Kazitsky was the one who got clear to get the 2-on-1 to get the ball forward for that goal. He hasn't really been able to get the ball as a genuine forward, but as a ruckman, you never know. He might be very dangerous late in the game.
Boundary throw in. Hudson knocks it down. Everett tied up immediately, and the umpire will do it again.
Get him free, don't lock him.
Bounce inside the forward 50. Got to be careful in here. Griffin over the football. The 4-1 Saints and the 3-2 Bulldogs in the last 3 minutes on Friday Night Football.
I think we saw a roll that Rodney Eade was a bit uptight at three-quarter time, even though you were 15 points in front. Certainly not a match-winning lead.
Hudson, Schneider, Fisher, an unlikely goal scorer. He puts them in front. Sam Fisher.
Doesn't this have a look at the Collingwood game a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah,
when
it does.
Collingwood were good, but St Kilda just kept finding something late in the game.
Sam Fisher allowed to stay off the back of the coverage, the stoppage like that. That's unacceptable from a Western Bulldogs point of view. I assume he's playing on Barry Hall. I'm not quite sure where Barry Hall was in that situation, but he was just allowed too much space and in effect had an uncontested shot on goal.
It's a dangerous place there, isn't it, when you've got space like that?
I'm not sure where his direct opponent was, but Sam Fisher's a good enough player in traffic to make a situation like that dangerous.
Back in the middle, Montagna after the bounce. Down goes Cross, out of there by Cooney, back towards Cross. Montagna slides in and the umpire will ball it up. Just looking at lead time in this game, the Bulldogs have led for 95 minutes tonight, the Saints for 3. They don't pay out on that. 3 points the difference. Big leap Del Santo, thumps it towards a vacant wing, leading back in the race, Jan Siracusa to Addison. Addison forces a passage, kicks inside the forward 50. Hahn was up, loose at the back. Fisher, who kicked the goal, tackled by Hall, taken by Higgins, gave a hand pass, stolen though by Del Santo, not 15. McWalter comes out wide, Montagna starting to run for them, coming up for his 31st possession. Montagna, confronted by Everett, tries to sling it across towards McWalter, and it's out of bounds.
Brian Lake's gone forward for the Dogs. He might be the man most likely to take a strong contested mark.
Still, and that's partly because St Kilda have just got all medium sizes in their forward line. They've gone small.
Still plenty of time. Hudson at the ruck. Cross to Everett. Interesting. Del Santo. That ball's not coming out. Clock stops at 1:56. This would be a crushing defeat for the Bulldogs. And what about these gritty Saints? In goes Cross. Releases Higgins. Feigns a hand pass. As a result, Hall was well into his lead. Harbrow's got the football. Hand passes towards half forward. Run down was Goddard. Comes towards McWalter. Putting the pressure on Hargrave. This will do the Saints. Rolls out the back. Clark on his knees. Montagna kicks it down towards half forward. Here comes Milne. Step for step was Morris. Picked up by Gilby. Flips over the top. Magic there from Cooney. Not a good kick though. It's all Saints around the football. Taken by Gilbert. Del Santo. Just over a minute now. McWalter. And they better man up. These Bulldogs better find the player and quickly. He's not looking forward. Back is the new forward. Clark.
Hit the nail on the head, Dennis. It's up for the Western Bulldogs to find a man. They've just got to orchestrate a turnover here.
And they have now. They've got one-on-one. You'll have to kick it down the line.
Schneider, 49 seconds to go. Hayes was up. Well done, McWalter. Montagna falling to the ground. Hudson couldn't complete the mark. Goes after the footy, precariously close to the boundary. It's out now. Clock stops at 35.
You get the feeling that was their best chance there. If Hudson could have taken the ball cleanly and brought the ball back round the back to get it in the Dogs' hands, but it looks unlikely from here.
36 minutes since the last Dogs goal. They're down to 35 seconds now. Eagleton tried to force it forward. Gwilt with courage stopped the football. He's still got it in there. And the umpire decides to ball it up at 23 seconds.
Sam Gilbert is spare back now for St Kilda. His opponent has to get into space, get right out into space, out around centre forward, front of the centre square, see if the ball can just come through there.
Trying to punch it forward, Griffin. In goes Cooney, Montagna, Hayes. They need clean ball. The Dogs, and they're not going to get it. That's the match. McWalter takes the mark. Just the short one across to Lenny Hayes. You can't say too much about this victory. Wonderful for St Kilda. Just fantastic. Where there's a will. Say, Tom, you're a soothsayer.